Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending whenever you're watching this video. Today's video is going to be a full season review of my first ever season racing competitively at Santa Pod Raceway at the 2025 season. We've had plenty of ups and downs, we've had cars broken, we've had to swap cars, we was racing in the daily driver. It's been a mad season, good qualifying, bad qualifying, red lights, but anyway, let's jump in and see how the season went.
It's not often you see a C4 Corvette.
No, pretty rare actually, to be fair.
Well, if you got your garage and you got one in your garage at home, bring it out, come race Sportsman ET. Try your best to beat a 1368 breakout.
See, that was a good light there for Steph. Could still get there first, actually. You're looking on dial-ins and reaction times. Oh, nearly 0-2. 1398 breakout for Steph. 1367.
So, as you can see there,
Lewis
in our
Gilbert
first
with the
ever
Corvette.
event, we went for a breakout, which was actually a PB for the car. But because we broke out, we were qualified last.
Run indeed.
And then in Q2, we went from last right up to second place. So we qualified in second place in the first ever event I took part in. But then there was a little bit of an issue. I will let past Lewis explain. The guy who fitted the fan switch, it works, but he's removed the normal setting for my fans, so they don't come on when the engine's hot. So they have to be either permanently on or off. So now, having learnt this, I ended up having to use my headlights for these two clowns to build their tent. So I had the engine running. All of a sudden, steam starts pouring out of my car. It's massively overheating. So turn the engine off, whack the fans on, and now we don't know. So yeah, due to my fan switch not working properly, the car massively overheated. So we had no idea what damage, if any, had been done. So we spent the entire morning underneath my car, because after it shat itself last night due to the dodgy fan switch, woke up this morning, I moved it over to hard ground, over there, to check for leaks, and it was pissing coolant out. So I was like, oh no. Went and borrowed a jack off someone, jacked it up, checked all the hoses, doesn't seem to be leaking from there, doesn't seem to be the radiator, because it didn't lose any coolant overnight. We've been messing with it for a bit, took it for a spin round the pits, revving it and all that, and the leaks stopped. So what we think is it was just residue dripping off from what was left last night. But my low coolant light is stuck on, even though I've not lost any coolant according to the coolant reservoir. So I think the system needs burping, but looks like we're good to race. So as past Lewis explained there, we checked the car over and all seemed to be running fine. So here we go with the first ever competition race. Yeah, we went out in round one to Brian Huxley. Unfortunately, the car did get hot and wouldn't shift into third gear, meaning I was unable to catch him. And we went out in round one. But yeah, that was that for our first ever competition. But it wasn't the last of the drama from that competition.
The light pollution from over here is disgusting. I can see ants. Oh, there's two stars. Two ant stars.
Ant?
Ant star. Look, ant star.
I can see all.
Hi.
What's happened to your burger, Dave? So after that massive rain shower and Connor waking up in a puddle and Dave's double muffin top burger, we tried leaving Santa Pod, broke down just outside Santa Pod, phoned the AA, turned out to be a split radiator, got the car recovered home after spending very much money on recovery. And then once we got it home, we replaced the radiator, the OptiSpark, the ignition control module, some other bits, and ended up discovering that it had lost all compression, cut the head, the car was scrap. So that was devastating. And then after that, I ended up in hospital for 10 days. So yeah, wasn't a good end to our first ever event, but you know, that's the way life goes, and we moved on to the next one. Spring Speed Nationals 2025, the first event of the season. For you eagle-eyed viewers, you will have noticed that we're not in the Corvette today. I am in my Camaro. The Corvette is currently out of commission. Yeah, so after replacing the full coolant system, a full service, new spark plugs, the works, I was going to go to dialing day as like, you know, practice, get my eye back in after the winter. We got about 60 miles down the M6. He's going to get a speeding ticket. And the oil started getting a bit hot, and then the engine completely died. Coolant temperature was in operating range, oil was hot, then the engine died, AA came out, the car had completely lost all spark. Right, that's it, track shut for the day. We finished the day with a new PB, 15.63. Reaction times are coming down as well nicely. But look who's here. Connor and Dave have arrived.
Crocodile Dundee's here to save the day.
This time, because last time they brought a tent, and I had to use my headlights for them to build it, which cost me a radiator. They've decided not to bring a tent at all this time, and now they're just sleeping in the car. So.
Where's your fucking key?
There isn't one, it's push to start. Press the start button.
Brake pedal.
I can't, this is stressing me out.
Right, brake pedal and start button.
I'll do it.
Keep your foot on the brake.
Dave's not even driven this car.
I've never driven this car. Let me do it.
She didn't
Come on.
press the brake pedal.
Press the brake.
Oh wait.
That might help her. Look at setting her up for failure, you fucking snake.
Oh, the key's got to be in the car.
Obviously, it's
Right,
keyless.
It's just got to be with me.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be in the car. Bosh.
Right, go on. Now turn left.
Bet she manages to stall it.
My automatic?
Yep.
Right, you're a bit far away. You're a bit far away. Right, keep going that way.
We were driving up that way, I want.
Nicely done. Right, Lewis Gilbert and Dan Holloway. 1540 dial-in for Lewis. And Dan at 1205 has the interesting problem of trying to keep the car the right side of the 12s. Well, Dan's going to get there first, but how close to the 1205 is it? It's a 1228 at 108. He was off the throttle at the stripe. Lewis goes 1580 on that 40.
Right, back in now off the first run in qualifying. I have qualified in 16th position so far out of 30. I'll put the table on screen.
Lewis Gilbert with, well, he actually says Corvette, but not, that's Camaro. Alongside Dan Holloway with the Mustang. Lewis wants 1560. Well, Dan gets there first with 1241. And Lewis makes a move there, got from 22 to 16, goes 1583 on that 1560.
So, after all the qualifying was finished, we only got 2 qualifying runs because due to time restraints, Q3 got cancelled. So, I ended up, after everyone had been shuffled about, qualifying finished, I qualified in P19 out of 30, which if we have a look at the ladder over here, put me up against Peter Walters, which ended up being quite interesting because if you look at this picture I'm going to throw up here of us in the pairing lanes for round 1, Peter actually has a twin of my car. So it ended up being twin 4th gen Camaros. His is a bit faster than mine. He's got a Z28 V8 in it and he's hopped it up a little bit. So, but it's all about dialing times when it comes to sportsmen. So let's have a watch and see how round 1 went.
Pete Walters and Lewis Gilbert up next. Don't adjust your sets. It is a silver Camaro taking on a silver Camaro. Also, slight difference in ETs as well. 1570 Lewis. Off he goes. Pete's got to be patient and now sets off in. I hope we're trying to get past Lewis before the stripe and take the win. Double breakout, but Pete Walters broke out by the most. Broke out by a 10th and only 800ths.
Right, that's round 1 over and done with. Made it through. Me and Peter both broke out.
Oh, Lewis got there first but broke out. 1556 on the 61. So
Right, we've just come in from round 2 and broke out, lost, did a 15.56. I broke out by 400ths of a second with a lift. We're out, but I'm happy because the car's just been PBing all weekend and it's got low 15s in it, so we can't complain. So, first event of 2025 there. In the daily driver, my Camaro, because the Corvette was obviously out of commission. And we went out in round 2, which is the last 16, which I was happy with. My first ever event. Obviously, I did national finals in 24, but that was more of a practice to get like my eye in and know what I'm doing. And obviously the Corvette broke anyway, so it wasn't a proper, fully sort of event. But yeah, first event of 2025 there. And we ended up going out in the last 16, which we will take. Not bad at all. It's currently 10 to 7 in the morning and I am just about to set off to Festival of Power 2025 at Santa Pod for the second event of the season. Fitted a new OptiSpark on the Corvette, still getting no spark, so I had to order more parts for that. So we're going in the Camaro again. Nice steady runner, she should be good. Looking at low 15s this weekend because there's no headwind.
right, it's Roman Giles and Lewis Gilbert.
For some miracle chance, anyone hands in a GoPro into the tower or to anybody, please could they do so. He just said his little brother has lost it and he's devastated. So he thinks he last had it on top of the bank. So if anyone finds a GoPro hanging around, please could you give it into either security or someone in the tower and we'll take care of it for you. Thank you very much indeed. Sorry, Connor. Carry on.
Roman Giles goes 1768 on the 48 to take the number 1 spot there. And Lewis goes through with the 1613.
It did a 16.1 I've ended up running, which is fairly terrible compared to the dialing. So, yeah, some thinking to do. Got to read the wind better and just see where we're at. Right, as you can see here, my position in qualifying after Q1 was in 25th. So we went down for Q2, we sat in the pit lane for over an hour whilst it just non-stop rained. And then it just got cancelled. So we're back in the pits, we've done 1 qualifying run.
Okay, Lewis Gilbert and Ricky Hale. 15.40 for Lewis. So currently your numbers 27 and 28 qualify. Yeah, very popular class, sportsman. 16.09 for Lewis. I'm not sure that's going to help much.
So we've gone from running 15.6, 15.5s to a 16.1 and then a 16 dead. So not quite sure what's going on. I think I might be spinning the tyres slightly off launch, because if I'm looking at my ET slips here, I'll try and throw these up on the screen as well. The PB run of the car, the 15.5.6, my 60-foot was a 2.20, whereas the run I've just done, my 60-foot was a 2.28, so I'm losing 600ths there.
Oh, do you know what? I thought that was going to be a perfect line then. 016 red for Eva Huxley. It's all about the ETs though. It'll be Lewis getting there first with a 15.49 dial. That's 15.82.
But that puts me 0.33 over my dialing for qualifying. It's not amazing, but that should definitely have me qualifying in the top 32, which puts me safe for tomorrow. We're into eliminations. I'm up against James Grew in his El Camino round 1. I'm hoping to be out about 11. I'm the slower car. James's El Camino runs 12s, so I'm going to go first. He's got to chase me down. I'll be looking in my mirrors to see how quick he's catching me and try and judge it without breaking out. But yeah, we'll see how we go in round 1.
And we'll move on. Okay, Lewis Gilbert taking on James Grew. Lewis with the Camaro and James with the mullet. So Tree will run in the Kestrel lane first. James went to go, then hesitated, but nailed it. They're both side by side. James will take the stripe, but he goes way too quick. 12.68 and is that an 86? I beg your pardon. Yeah, that's a couple of tenths too quick. Your winner will be Lewis Gilbert.
So yeah, we're through to round 2. Not sure who I'm going to have yet, but I'll put the ladder up and we'll see where we're at for round 2.
Right, Lewis Gilbert taking on Jill Medley. The Cherokee, the Jeep Cherokee, doing the glazing at a rapid rate of knots as well.
One of the quicker cars or Jeeps in the class. And out in front as well, and takes the win.
Out in round 2, ran a 16.2, but I pulled out of it early. When Jill came flying past me, I was like, right, pull out of it. Obviously, I've already lost the actual race, but I was hoping if she broke out, then I didn't want to break out, and then I would have gone through that way. But no, she didn't break out, beat me to the line, and yeah, that was that. Another round 2 loss, but that is another 270 points onto the points table. Right, Festival of Power 2025, we went out in round 2 yet again in the last 16, but we're still gaining good points, so all is going pretty well given the fact we started the season with a broken car, so not too bad. We're heading off to Santa Pod for the 3rd event of the season, Sportsman Nationals. Didn't do too well in the last one because of the track conditions throwing me off, running a bit slow and whatnot. So we're hoping for good qualifying, good points, and let's try and climb that points table a little higher. Corvette is obviously been working on it, rebuilt the ignition system, new sparks, new coil, new Dizzy, or an Opti-Spark in that car, and it's also had a new ICM, which is actually in my pocket from working on the car last week. This little computer chip thing, which receives a signal from the Opti-Spark and tells the car, like, yeah, go on, you can fire up, pretty much. So replaced all that, and then the car's cranking over, and it wouldn't start. It'd make a few pops and bangs as it's burning some fuel. So we got spark back. We did do a spark test, definitely got spark, nice strong spark. And when it's not starting. So we have to get a compression test on it. It's lost compression. The going theory is the head has warped when it overheated, which basically means the car's dead. The car is scrap. So that was fun. Yeah, didn't feel like I wanted to cry at all at that news.
Right, 12.95 the target for Adam. Lewis 15.65. $13.21 and $15.97.
Right, run number 1 is in the bag. Going into a headwind. Plus, I didn't have my tyre pressures done correctly because we didn't have the time. Put a 15.56 on. I ran a 15.97, which puts me 0.032 over. It's not great, but it's put me in 13th place out of 31, I think, in qualifying. So, not bad, not good, room for improvement.
Lewis Gilbert with the Corvette then. 1580 dialing. Well, the screen says Corvette. You look at the car itself, it's actually a Camaro. So, not quite sure what's happened to the Corvette, but that's definitely a Camaro. Still, 1580 is the dial-in, 1604 is the run. Lewis moves up 1 spot, 21 to 20.
Right, back in off qualifying 2, and as you can probably hear and see out of this window, it's chucking it down. We're actually really lucky to get qualifying 2 in the bag, because we got called down, and while we were sat in the lanes, it started raining. Pretty much not quite as heavy as this, but it was heavy enough, and all the cars were wet, and it's like, oh no. This went on for like half hour, 40 minutes, and we just assumed, oh, it's getting called off, we'll be sent up the pit road, and that's that. Which would have been good for me, because I was in 13th, and there's a prize for going unlucky 13th in qualifying. But the rain stopped, everyone gets the towels out, drying the cars off. So we went out. I'd put a 15.8 on this time, so I'd added a bit of time due to the fact we ran a 15.9 in Q1. Did improve, so I went from 0.03 over my time, I think, to a 0.24 over my time. So we improved what everybody else did as well. So I improved and dropped 7 places. We've qualified in 20th out of 29. Which also means, with the eliminations ladder, I'm up against Peter Walters. Again, 2 4th gen silver Camaros in round 1 eliminations. Again, this has got to be a fix. Like, out of 3 events, that's happened twice. Really? Come on, Santa Pod, let's mix it up a bit.
Lewis sets off. There goes Pete. Always looks close at the stripe. Pete closing in, and it is. Oh, it's a double breakout. Pete Walters got there first, but broke out by the bigger amount. The win goes to Lewis Gilbert. 700s breakout compared to 300s breakout.
Right, that's round 1 in the bag. It's a complete repeat of last time that I raced Pete. Double breakout with me breaking out by a little bit less and getting the win. So Pete broke out by 0.06 of a second. I broke out by 0.02. So I get the win. Been speaking to Pete just then. That's the fastest his car's gone all weekend. He wasn't expecting that run. The wind's changed today, so it's thrown a few people off, been a few breakouts. But yeah, we managed to get the win. I was looking in my mirror and I could see him coming at me, and he was coming at me quick. So I knew I was going to break out, but I had to keep my foot in it because obviously he's coming at me too quick, so I need to win the race. I knew I was going to break out, and I was just hoping for basically the result that I got. I was hoping he broke out by more, and as he came past me, he was lifting off the throttle. I could hear him lifting off, and he still broke out by more than me. So I was watching the race, went with my instincts, kept my foot in it, hoping for a lesser breakout, and I got the result I wanted. So I read it well. Reaction times are now in the 0.1s, so that's quite good. So yeah, on to round 2. Let's see how far we can go.
All right, Sportsman ET. All right, your first pair up then. Jago Stokes, Lewis Gilbert. So Lewis gets to the green, as does Jago Stokes. So sort this one out, the stripe boys. 1584 for Lewis with the Camaro. 1230 Jago with the Skyline. Lewis out in front and beautifully judged. A little bit too well judged actually. 1585 on an 84. 05 light, job done.
Alright, and there we have it. I'm through to round 3. I was 0.01 over my dial-in time. I pulled out of it, judged it absolutely perfectly. I saw that Jago wasn't coming at me fast enough, so after speaking to him, he had a bad 60 foot, bad launch, so he wasn't coming at me fast enough. I pulled out of it just before the finish line, slowed it down just enough, 0.01 of a second over my dial-in, and take the win. Happy days.
1584 for Lewis, leaving first. 1330 dial-in for Adam. So 1330 for Adam, 1584 for Lewis. As they get to the stripe, the win light goes to... Oh, it's a double breakout again, but Lewis Gilbert by the lesser amount. Oh, well, I'd say lesser amount by 1,000th of a second breakout, but it was 800ths breakout for Adam. So it's Lewis Gilbert that's into the semis.
Right, you're here with post-editing Lewis doing a narration, because after this round, there wasn't really time in between the races to film clips at my tent, get back down to the sportsman lot, sort myself out, and then get down for the next round. It all started going pretty quick. So here we have the timing sheet for my third round, and it ended up with Adam Wakefield, who's just built his new car, and it's beautiful, I must say. But yeah, I was just watching him come at me, and I could see him coming up on me, and I felt like it was a good run, and I pulled out just too late. I was 0.001 underneath my dial-in, almost perfect, but obviously I could see Adam coming at me. I lifted when I felt like it was right, and I wasn't far off, and obviously Adam broke out by more, and that was it. We were through to the next round.
Sportsman ET semi-finals. Chris Cresswell taking on Lewis Gilbert. 1470 dialing for Chris. Lewis Gilbert will leave first though, 1584. Well, they're closing in together at the stripe, and it is a win for Lewis Gilbert. Oh my goodness me, the win margin 0.0004. Oh my goodness me, that was so tight. 1488 against a 1591, but the win margin 0004. That's got to be photo finish of the day. Goodness me.
Okay, now this race right here is just a great example of why bracket racing is so cool. The whole aim is to get really close photo finishes like this one. That was absolutely insane. Obviously, you dial in separate times, you set off at the difference in your dialings, and it's all about who gets to the line first without going faster than your dialing. And it just creates brilliant racing. I mean, look at this. Now, the way the beams work, the laser beam, that's how the Santa Pod system times you. It's when your wheels break the laser, not the front of your car. So obviously, looking at this picture, it looks like I'm miles ahead, but that's just because my car's got a bigger front end. If you actually look at our front wheels, look how close that finish is on the finish line. Absolutely insane finish. What a fantastic race. And yeah, we just got the win on that one.
Your finalists here, Lewis Gilbert and Gary Lake. Oh, Gary Lake is used to going rounds and used to going into finals and taking championships. He's done it numerous times. But I don't think he's raced Lewis Gilbert in a final before. I think this is Lewis's first final. The dial-ins, 1584 for Lewis, 1390 for Gary. Others qualified higher, but these two made it through to the final. Lewis qualified 20th, Gary 10th. So Lewis still has his nose in front, but here comes the Arabian Night. Closing in, pulling alongside. Puts his nose in front and takes it, 1407 to lose out 1596. Gary Lake, top of the pile.
And there we go. We made it to the final. Unfortunately, couldn't beat Gary, but there is a reason. He is a 3-time champion, and God knows how many times he's a finalist and he's won finals. But yeah, he's very, very good. But having a look here at the times, I was only 0.12 off my dialing, whereas Gary was 0.17. So I actually was closer by 0.05 of a second. But if you look at the reaction time, that's where the win is, and that's how Gary pipped me. He was 0.05, I was 0.13. So there's 0.08 of a second difference there, which adds up to Gary winning by 0.03 of a second, taking the win, taking the event. Well done, Gary. Fantastic race, and it was nothing but a pleasure to actually be in a final with him. This is a fantastic photo here as well. It's said in bracket racing that you're not looking where you're going, and this is me and Gary pushing 90, 100 miles an hour, and neither of us are looking where we're going. If you look at me, you can see the back of my helmet, and I am looking directly towards basically Gary's front wheels. And if you look at Gary, you can see his visor looking towards my front wheels, and we're just watching each other, trying to read each other, figuring out when we should lift, when we shouldn't lift. And yeah, we're not looking where we're going at those speeds. You're just looking at each other. It's pretty mental.
Okay, next up then it is Sportsman ET. And congratulations to our runner-up. I believe it's his first final, but came up against the toughest one of the lot. But nevertheless, a great result. Let's hear it. Lewis Gilbert! Well done, Lewis. Absolutely brilliant, Lewis. Well done. But your event winner, and he has a habit of collecting these trophies. I think an extension on the extension on the extension on the bookcase is going to be required at home. One and only Mr. Gary Lake. Well done, Gary. So well done to the pair of you. Lewis Gilbert, runner-up. Gary Lake, your event winner. Okay, on to the final.
Wow, what an event that was. Editing this video now and just watching all the clips back, I can't believe how close some of them races were. But we ended up making it to the final, got a heap of points. Yeah, did really, really well this event. I was very happy with the performance. Just missed out to Gary Lake in the final there, but it's Gary Lake, what you're going to do. He is incredible. But yeah, that was a fantastic event. And our first ever trophy to take home with the Camaro. And get ready for tomorrow qualifying Green Light Nationals. Here we go. Right, it's Friday sort of evening time now. Temperatures have come down a little bit. We're still like 28 degrees air temperature. But because the sun's not as intense anymore, you can sit outside without dying. I'm hoping to get some good points at this event. There's 35 of us, so qualifying's big points. 300 and odd points up for grabs there, and then obviously eliminations are 100 points each. Due to missing the Summer Nationals, I scored 0 points. I dropped from 7th in the standings. I'm now down in 18th. So I've gone from 7th within 30 points of 5th, and now I'm down in 18th. So we're needing a lot of points at this event, so we're hoping we can get good qualifying is a big step. That's a big help on the points, and then make it through at least a few rounds of eliminations, and that should help us bump back up in the standings.
Troy Attree, Lewis Gilbert, next pair. Troy wants 12.22. Lewis 15.70. $12.81 for Troy. Guess what for Lewis though? Yep, another breakout.
Right, so first qualifying run in the bag, and put a 15.7 on. Took a 10th and a half pretty much out of the times I was running last event. Obviously slight tailwind, nothing huge. I red lighted by 0.2, sorry, quite a big red light, because you know it's qualifying. I wanted to see how far I could push it and get the reaction times down, and they pushed it way too far, so we know that now. It doesn't matter in qualifying. But my dialing of 15.7, I was 0.36 under it, which is huge. A 15.33 at 88 miles an hour. That's a PB for this car. So again, out of the blue, the car's just randomly decided to hit a PB, and yeah, I broke out massively with a new PB run. So even though we break out, it's all smiles here, because a PB is a PB. Happy days. We'll see you in Q2.
Next pair already coming forward. Sophie Evans with the BMW, 13 flat on the dial-in. Didn't get a run in Q1, got pushed back. So this will be her first run on the board, going alongside Lewis Gilbert with the vet. 15.33 dial-in. Well, when I say vet, that's what it says on the screen. But if you obviously look at the car, that's not a Corvair, that's a Camaro. So it's one of these car swap jobs, I think. So Lewis, 15.33, gets a 15.34 to number 1. Brilliant move from Lewis. 100th of a second off, goes to number 1 qualifier. Job done. 15.53. Just trying to see where
Q2 is in the bag. Ran a 15.33 in Q1. Massive breakout. 12 people in my class broke out. The track's really good, air pressure's really good, and we've got a tailwind for once. So everyone's been breaking out. But now we've learnt track conditions a little bit better. I bought a 15.33 on the back of the car. So obviously that's what I ran last time. Let's just go with it, see where we qualify. And I was 0.01 over the time, 100th over my dial in, which put me first in qualifying for that run. But then obviously the rest of the field ran. I'm not too sure where I stand right now. I'll throw it up on screen. I think I'll be in like the top 5 or something, which is a big improvement from where I was sat after Q1.
Sophie Evans with the BMW 13 flat. And Lewis Gilbert, he's number 3 qualified, doing very well today. 15.33 dial in for the Camaro. Here we go. Right, Sophie. 13 flat, the target. She's currently number 30. Goes 13.71, moves up 3 spots. Lewis Gilbert breaks out by a 10th. No help from number 3 there. Lewis Gilbert and Richard Palmer. Lewis with the Camaro. Number 5 qualifier at the moment, 15.33 on the dial in. Richard Palmer with the family cat, the Jag. Dial of 13.10. So Richard goes 13.10 with a 1. Wow, he's your new number 1 qualifier.
So still no improvement on what was my Q2 run, which was it's a really good 0.01 over the time. Just gone 0.03 over, which again is good, but it won't improve my position. Reaction times, I've got it down to a 0.14 red light though, so I need to just do the other side, but they're getting better. But all in all, the car's looking good. It's running the 15.3s pretty steadily, so let's hope it keeps on doing that. We've not got qualifying. We've got 1 qualifying run tomorrow and then into eliminations, so let's see what we can do tomorrow.
Lewis Gilbert with the Camaro, and it's Craig Flinders. Not with the Ford Ranger this weekend, unfortunately blew the EGR valve, so this weekend he's in the VW. A dial of 16.23. So going to be Lewis there first. 15.40 the target. 15.60 was the run. Craig goes 16.55 on a 23. He stays put. Lewis stays put. No change.
Right, we've just finished qualifying. We've got 5 runs of qualifying, which is rare for us at Santa Pod. Usually we only have 2. But 5 runs in, I've finished out in 9th position. I couldn't improve on my qualifying 2 run. It was quite good. 0.01 over my time. I didn't get any better than that. 0.03, 0.02 I've done, but obviously you go off the 0.01, which is the best. Puts me in 9th place, which, if my maths is correct, should be 230 points from qualifying alone. So that's a big haul of points back from the missed event. Yeah, on to eliminations now. The wind has changed today, so we're running a bit slower. I've just done a 15.6, so I've put 15.45 on the car, and well, I'm going to think about it. We'll see how we feel about that. Gives me a bit of leeway at the top end for if I want to pull out, keep my foot in, depending on what my opponent's doing. But yeah, 9th position in qualifying. I'll throw the ladder of eliminations up once that's done. yeah, on to eliminations now. So I will see you in eliminations round 1.
Lewis Gilbert. Oh, that's a great message, because on the entry computer it says Corvette. And I know it's a Camaro. He's put a message on the back window said, "Vet is dead." No idea why it's still saying it. Oh, Lewis, well done, mate. Dial in a 1545. I'm not laughing at the fact the Corvette's dead. I'm just laughing at the way you put the message on the back window. But thank you for the update. Going alongside Harry Redshaw. Both into stage. There goes Harry. And Lewis goes red, unfortunately, so Harry Redshaw gets the win. See if he can run an 18.12. Oh, he runs 18.25.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's fucking all flapped out. He's up there. I know, he's doing a donut.
Like that. Oh my god. Wow. That's some skill.
I like that bit.
That is dodgy.
He just like stalls it and hovers.
Ah! Whoa. Oh, mate.
Right, well that was it. Out in round 1 because some knobhead hit a red line too quick by 0.08 of a second. I think because it's first time I'm the chase car, I'm usually the lead car. But because I was the chase car, I had to sit at the start line for 3 seconds while my opponent went off and I had to catch him. So because I was sat there for so long, I'm waiting to go and waiting to go. And yeah, I just went at that tiny bit too early, red light, lost the race. First time I've been out in round 1. But still got good points in qualifying, so not a complete write-off of a weekend. So that was it for Greenlight Nationals. We went out in round 1 for the first time because some absolute bell hit a red light. Because yeah, that was how we wanted to go out. But luckily the qualifying points kept us sort of, so it wasn't a bad result all in all. Would have been nice to get some eliminations in there. But it is what it is. We got good qualifying, so we'll take what we can take. Let's move on to the next. We're at National Finals, last event of the season. And due to missing an event and the red light at the last event, I've dropped down the order. But I'm still being positive in my head. We're still hunting that top 10 finish. Let's see where we get to by the end of this event.
So, Lewis Gilbert from Hyde with the Camaro in the Kestrel lane, and your already decided champion for 2025, Gary Lake, from not far away in Risborough. And the reason I say it's so surprising to have it wrapped up before the last event, when there's 6 events on the calendar, 018 on the tree. Look at that. It's very hard to win in any sort of bracket racing, but to have it wrapped up already, 14-11. There you go. He's number 4. Lewis breaks out.
First qualifying run in the bag, put 15.84 on because there's a bit of a headwind, but the headwind's not as strong as I thought it was looking at the windmills. So we broke out 15.63, all good. First qualifying run is all about just gauging where you're at, how the track is, what the wind's like. So now we know where we're going for Q2, and we'll see what we sort of get in Q2. Hopefully decent dial-in, decent time. Let's see what happens.
Matter of fact, Matty, with the message change on the back again, saying very bad man, but really was. That's as much as I can read from here, mate. Sorry, my eyes ain't no good. Lewis Gilbert. These two, 23 and 28 at the moment. Well, that moves Matt up to 14 and Lewis up to 20 that time round.
Right, so in Q1, put 15.84 on the car, did a 15.63 breakout. So Q2, put 15.6 on the car, you know, trying to play it safe, need to get a time on the board. And then it ran a 15.99. So it's gone from breaking out by 2 tenths to being over by 3 tenths. So nearly 4 tenths. So not really sure why. I think the wind plus the change in temperature, track might be a bit more sticky. A couple of things which could have slowed it down. But anyway, the point is we got time on the board, and that's the most important thing really to qualify. And yeah, so tomorrow we're hoping for another 2 qualifying runs before eliminations. So I'm going to try and improve on that. But yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow.
16.29. Lewis Gilbert and Lorna Collins. Camaro against Mazda. If you're in this part of the world, it's an MX-5. If you're on the other side of the pond, it's a Miata. Both on time. Very on time. So room for improvement will for both of them. Lewis goes up to 12 actually.
Good evening at Santa Pod Raceway. It is now dark, as we can see. Just done Q3. We managed to get 3 runs in today, which we weren't expecting, but am I glad that we did. So the car ran fast and slow, so I've gone for the middle ground, put 15.7 on, ran a 15.8 with a 0.06 reaction time. Cracking run, I'm really happy with that. Puts me in good stead going into tomorrow. If I improve, then great. If I don't, it's still decent qualifying position. So I'm quite happy with that, and I shall see you all tomorrow.
Okay, the last car, I think, in qualifying for Sportsman ET. We will set the fields after this round of qualifying for everybody. Yeah, Lewis Gilbert will be the last one to try and improve. $15.64 goes too quick.
Okay, just come back from Q4. Broke out. Went too quick. So the wind is pretty much the same as yesterday. I was 10th over on my Q3 time. So I put 500ths on my Q3 time for today's run, Q4, hoping that I might be able to bring it in a bit closer. And then the car went and did a 15.64. So it was over a second quicker than what I dialed in, which means it was 2 seconds, almost 2 seconds quicker than what the last run was yesterday. So it was a bit all over the shop. I've broke out by 2 tenths, then I was over by 3 tenths, nearly 4, then over by 1 tenth, and now under by 2 tenths again. So a bit all over the shop. Not quite sure what we're going to do for eliminations, but fingers crossed we make something work and we get through a few rounds. Let's go and see what happens.
Those two. Al Medley and Lewis Gilbert. On the screen, it said Lewis is driving a Corvette. However, I don't know a lot about cars, but I know that's not a Corvette. Might identify as a Corvette, maybe. So Lewis Gilbert takes the tree first, followed by Alan, who has been plagued with gear selection issues. That's the first run he's made it that far down the racetrack. Will it be a winning one? 12.25 almost is the answer. 0.4 win margin over there in the Slick Tricks lane. That was Al's best run of the weekend. And he lost out round 1 with it.
Okay, so Sunday morning now. First round of elimination just about got done last night. Track closed at 8. and we were down there at like 7:45. The bikes had to go before us, and we're all sat there like, oh, they're going to cancel us, they're going to cancel us. They just squeezed us in the dark. I was up against Alan Medley in his Oldsmobile. It's his Pro ET car, so that's a 10-second car. 12 seconds is the limit for our class, so he has to slow it right down. But he's not had the car out in 18 months. So he wasn't too sure. His qualifying runs weren't great. He only just qualified, to be honest. So yeah, I had him. And the last run he did in eliminations was the best run he's had in that car for a while. And he didn't have any headlights. So I'm the lead car, he's the chase car. So I'm looking in my mirror to try and see where he's coming, how fast he's chasing me down. And I can't see him because he's got no headlights. So I've got the 1,000-foot mark, I can just about see it. So I just fired the car and set the car alarm off. But yeah, about the 1,000-foot mark, I could just see him coming up. He was still behind me, so I lifted out of it, judged it to perfection. I was 0.1 over my dial-in time, and the win margin was 0.03 of a second. So judged it really well, great race. And today, in eliminations round 2, I've actually got Alan's wife. I've got Jill in the mega Jeep. So yeah, beat one Medley. Now let's go and try and beat the other Medley. See you at eliminations round 2.
That way. Lewis Gilbert, Jill Medley. I really, really love this Jeep. Kids would never be late for school. Three runs for the Camaro first. Nothing in it at the finish line. Jill Medley, lesser of the two breakouts, folks. Nothing in it on the tree as well. Only a couple of hundreds between the pair of them. Jill Medley, round 3.
Right, so that was that. Last event of the 2025 season. Ended up losing to Jill. Double breakout, even though I added time to my dial-in. Took time out of the dial-in. So I took a 10th out. I put a 15.7 on. Took it down to a 15.6 because of a lack of headwind. And then I lifted as well, coasted across the finish line. Because I looked in my mirror. I saw that Jill wasn't catching me at the rate she should have been. So I lifted out of it and still broke out by more than Jill did. Double breakout, but she broke out by less. When I went in the last 16, not sure where that's going to put me on the point standings. There's a cat on me right now. Yeah, not sure where that's going to put me on the point standings. Top 10 is basically gone. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened. But given my first season in the wrong car, don't forget we started this season in the Corvette on the way down to dial-in day to dial it in, and it blew up. So we've done the season in the Camaro, my daily driver. Missed one event. Should still be guaranteed top 20 out of 40 something, which isn't bad for the first season in the wrong car with one event missing. Thank you for sticking with me through the 2025 season, and we shall see what happens in 2026 with a brand new car. See you then.
Feel the power, hear the roar, vein, muscle core wanting more, engines rumble, a symphony of speed, on the asphalt planting the seed.